Hi and welcome to Bespoke Feed, and I'm going to go over today why you need an inquiry automation within your wedding planning business. Now, many wedding planners have websites, and when you have a website, your client and your potential new bride that you could be working with is probably scrolling late at night and comes across maybe something on Pinterest, or maybe you're ranking on Google and they see your website and realize that you are the perfect fit to work with them in 2026. So they get in touch and they're excited because they've been spending the last couple of hours scrolling and trying to find somebody to work with. So they're excited, right? They are excited for their big day and they realize they need to get planning. So what I have found with a lot of wedding planners is they're then replying 2, 3 days later, and maybe the bride has asked a few wedding planners to have a call with them because it's such a personal and intimate relationship between a planner and a bride, because the bride needs to be on the same wavelength as the planner. And maybe the other planners have actually responded really quickly and they've managed to book in a discovery call with the bride already. Now, if that seems like something that's happened to you way too many times, then this is going to blow your mind and I can't wait to show you. So here at Bespoke Feed, we actually use Dubsado and create Dubsado setups for wedding planners and different types of service providers. I'm going to show you an inquiry review automation that really makes it super easy for you to respond to those inquiries you get at 10 p.m., 2 a.m. in the morning when we're sleeping, right? Because we need our beauty sleep. So these automations really help you work your business and not be stressed about people contacting you and you not responding to them straight away and losing that potential bride, because losing that bride is devastating when you're trying to increase your business and set up a wait list or just make more business in 2026. So the aim of this is to capture those leads and help turn them into a client as quick as possible. And that is where Dubsado comes into play. And that's why I'm super excited to go over this with you, because it's one of the things that is really underutilized within Dubsado, or utilized when having a website, is the communication between you and your leads, because at every touch point should be magical and it should really create a client experience for your customers. So let's dive in. We are in a example Dubsado account, so I want to show you how your flows can really help create a really custom experience for your brides. So within Dubsado, we have this thing called flows, and basically it's where all the automations that pull in your forms, your invoicing, your events, and tasks and messages all into one place. So it really makes it super easy to be able to send out proposals, being able to send out emails without you actually having to manually do it yourself. And that's what I want to show you today. So within your flows, we have templates. So I'm in my templates currently, and what I don't want you to do is press start a flow, because that actually uses your current templates and then assigns it to somebody. What I want you to do is you create a new template. So when we create this new template, let's edit it. Let's add it as a website inquiry flow. So this is our new flow for our website. So when somebody is on our site, we're then going to create a form that can then add to our website, and then our clients can then add all their details onto the form, and they can do it at any time and they will get a response from us. So what to do is we want to add an email to be sent to our client. Going back to a form, I just wanted to show you that this is where we add in a workflow. So for example, we've now created our inquiry example, so we're gonna add that there, and this will be when somebody has actually answered these questions on your website, you can actually put these forms onto your website by embedding this code onto your site. So this is a really good way of not having to have extra forms on your site. They can also be edited via the styling elements, so you can add CSS to your forms, and that's what we help our clients do, is we create forms that are really stylish and that look like your brand. So once you have added the default workflow, when you go to creating your email, so you can't select the form here, it will be within the workflow. So I also wanted to share with you that you can actually add your email templates really easily from the flow area. So you can literally just add it there and it adds all the client fields. So as you can see here, this is a smart field, and this will take what your client has said in the form and it will add their name, and it will add your brand signature and any other details that maybe you want to add. So maybe in your form you ask what day they want to get married, and if maybe they have booked their wedding venue, you could add that within here, and it just makes it so much easier. So once we have added this, we create it. So after the workflow starts, we then create it, and then this is our first part of the inquiry. So then I want to show you what we can do next. Okay, so now we have our inquiry, and we have an email going out to our bride, so she feels happy and she knows that you have now received her inquiry. So what we now need to do is create a task for us to make sure we answer. So we can assign it to ourselves, and we can also email it to ourselves as well. And we want to make sure it's done after all previous actions. So this is when our flows start to get created. So we want to look at the bride's inquiry form. Me personally, I like to look at the inquiry form before I send out a scheduled discovery call and scheduler, only because I like to make sure that we're a perfect fit. So if we're not a good fit, then I don't want to send it out to you, and I will send out a different email instead. So we are using this task to make sure that we look over the form and what all the details that the bride has added to her form. So once we've done that, I want to add a scheduler. So this scheduler is to help us determine when we should book our discovery call. So we're going to send an email to the client and say that this is a free consultation and we want them to, have I got a good email here? We want to have a chat. So we want to see if we're a good fit and see if we could work together, if our dates align and all that jazz. So this happens after the previous, I want this to happen as a manual approval. So we want it to happen after previous actions, but I don't want it to happen until I have looked at the task beforehand. So once I have looked at the task, I then know if it's perfect and if we are a perfect fit. So yeah, once we have seen if we're a good fit, I will then manually approve it and it will send straight away after the previous actions are completed. So after this task has been completed. We create that and then we have our 3 tasks, 3 actions in our flow. So as you can see, we've actually got the waiting for approval button just there. So it makes it super easy for us to see what we need to approve within our flow. But I also want to add another email to help our bride know what we do. So this bride might have booked the discovery call, but I want them to know once they have booked the discovery call a bit more about us. So when we get to the discovery call, it's really easy to see what we're about and we don't have to do as much selling. It's just more of a vibe check. So this email is all about us, so what we are about, and then in the body I would add all the details. So this is how you add in a smart field. So this would be the client and the client name, and I would share a YouTube video on what we do and maybe a few testimonials. And this makes it really easy for us to have a really fluid discovery call. So we'll create that. And then now we have 4 actions within our inquiry flow. But I also forgot to share that in this email, we want it to be after the appointment has been made. So after an appointment is booked, and we maybe want it 1 hour, 1 hour after we have had our appointment booked. So it feels more natural and it's just to keep the excitement going. So let's save that. I didn't add the scheduler. There we go. And then we can save it. Perfect. So now I want to update our project status. So down here we have our project statuses and the status now is, okay, so I've added schedule call as a project status. I literally did this within within the area up here and I added it in there. So now you can see that this will be triggered and our client will go from, we'll show you within here the boards that we have. So we will now be in the scheduled call area once the client has scheduled the call and we've sent the email. So after all previous actions are completed, we'll create that, and then now the project has now been moved into the schedule call area. I also want to add a tag to this project. So we go to add project tag, and we're going to create a new tag of the scheduled call, make it a funky color. So now this tag is going to be also added to this project, so we can now do more things with those tags applied. I also want to make sure that when our client has booked the call, we don't have any situations within our calendar and there's no double bookings, or I'm not busy that day, I might not have time for that call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a task to make sure I look at the scheduled call with, and we can actually add in smart fields here too, so the client name, so I can actually look for this. So this makes it super easy to actually making sure that we follow through and all our tasks are done in sync, so nothing is getting in the way. So I would actually also make sure that we had a 3-day and 7-day flow that followed up with our client if they did not book the schedule. And I would also make sure that the inquiry form keeps nudging them so they actually book a discovery call with us, because we want them to book a discovery call. And this is why the automation is so handy. Our leads do not go dead, and we actually make it super easy for them to work with us because we are there for them, and we show that don't worry if you haven't responded within the last 3 days, we're still here, you can still book a call with us. So that's what I would also add to this workflow. But as you can see, it's super easy to add the workflow, and it just makes your life as a planner so much easier, and it also makes your brides feel so much more comfortable with you when they're inquiring. So I hope this has helped, and let me know if you have implemented something like this into your business, and yeah, if how you find it.